Engineer, and in my last video I've discussed mostly on the companies and what are the skills required for your SAP basis and HANA, and also the salary part I've discussed. So today I will be just this video is continuation of that the previous non-technical video. So we will be discussing today how you're going to prepare for your technical interviews for basis and HANA and also for the interview perspective, what are the important topics you should read and you should prepare for. And guys, I am just focusing from 0 to 6 years, so people who are beyond 6 years, it's up to you if you want to see this video, don't want to see this video, but primarily this video is going to help you who are within this experience range of 0 to 6 years. Okay, so I divide the entire process of interview into 3 parts. Okay, so the very first thing is you should know what you want. Okay, so you should understand that, okay, what is the requirement and what is the job role you're applying for, like if it is a consultant, if it is a junior consultant or just a senior consultant. So based on your designation you need to look for that. So I'm just giving an overview for that. So 3 things are very important. One, you should have the infrastructure knowledge. Infra knowledge is quite important because in a basis environment you are somebody who should know like how to check the things from the OS, how to check the things from the Linux level or from the network level, so that if any application is not reachable, or suppose you are having a PO systems and your PO communication channels are not reachable, so you can do a telnet test with those communication channels or SFTP channels, particularly for the SFTP channels with a port number, you can do a telnet so that you can understand that from my server if it is reachable or not, and that you cannot do from the application side. You need to always log into the OS level, and from there you need to do that. So that's the reason infra knowledge is important, and in infra quite it is important that OS. Okay, so and second thing is your network. Okay, so these are the 2 important things, and you should have this because in OS, I don't know what you know about the OS, but you must have the Linux. Okay, if you don't have Windows, it's fine, because Windows already we are using the laptop, so we know how Windows has been used. I mean, just to copy paste and just to like the same way you can open anything in the notepad in Windows, but you cannot open the same thing in the Linux because it's required the editor. Okay, so the next thing is your at least master in at least spend some time to understand the Linux and the basic Linux commands. And along with that, you should know the the file system related commands, and you can go through one of my video which I've already uploaded in my channel itself, so you can see the important Linux commands, and that is enough for you to clear the interview if somebody asks you any questions related to Linux. Okay, so next is your network side. Network side also you require the basics, like how you add a IP, what is OS IP, what is application IP, like what is physical name, what is logical name, so all these things you need to understand, and the basics would be clear. And also how to do this network testing, like your telnet. Okay, and or you can also use the curl command. You can like, so these kind of commands, and ping test, kniping. So why we use all these things you should know, and also in the real-time application you should use it, particularly if your router is not one of your server is having some issue with the printers, so you can, and those are using network printers, so you can also do a kniping test with those. So there are multiple things you can use these applications, and these are the telnet, curl, kniping, these are the function of the Linux which is there, which you can use. Okay, so the next is your database knowledge. Okay, so database knowledge, because I know a lot of people are still working on ECC, and because your customer is still on ECC platform, so it doesn't matter, even whatever database you have, right, you should know the day-to-day administration. Okay, so in case you are talking about Oracle, so you should know the schema, or how to reset the password, schema password in Oracle. Then monitoring, like you should know that alert SID, that log file, how to check these things. So what is the utility, how to check the backup status in Oracle. Okay, so Oracle file structure, you should know that, how the SAP data is there, how Oracle is there, how your SAP backup folder is there, and other folders like your you have also the reclog, A or reclog B. So you should know those basics. Second thing, you should know the Oracle bundle patch if you're working on Oracle itself. Okay, and next is your Oracle parameter changes. These are like your day-to-day activities, guys. This is not something very big. Then Oracle upgrade and Oracle refresh. I mean database refresh, I'm just talking about DB restore. Either you can just use BR backup, or you can also just manually, you can also use admin. So but one of the backup strategy, that is more than enough, so you don't need to have all the things in mind. Okay, so this is why Oracle, if you know this, and normal day-to-day administration like your file system monitoring and taking the actions and the table space. Okay, so all these things that you should know. These are the very basic, and somebody who is going to take your interview, at least in India, they will ask you on refresh. They will ask you how you create the control file, how you go for the point in time recovery in Oracle, and how you edit the control file, what are the entries you edit, and before creating the control file, what are the location you rename the files, so all these things, and how to identify the logs which are going to be applied during the restore and recovery, in the recovery process. So they will be asking you the commands. And also remember to at least the restore recovery command, like your recovery command, then control file command. So all these things you have to remember. These videos are there in my channel. You can go for the Oracle refresh and you will get all the information. Okay, so somebody, if you are into the HANA database, so simple thing, you should be very good in HANA monitoring. That is important, because in HANA, if there is alert are there, you are capable enough to monitor, okay, particularly the high memory consumption, high memory utilization. Okay, also you, like, suppose you have any alerts that you see, the priority alerts, you should able to take the action. Second is your backup restore in HANA. Okay, because in HANA the backup strategy is same, but we have the differential backups also in place, so you need to know how to use all these things, differential backup and incremental backup. Okay, so before you do the backup restore, at least when you do the restore, you need to check the the consistency of backup. So how to do that? Okay, and also the recoverability, so whether your database can be recoverable to that point wherever you want or not. So all these things. All these things you need to check. Along with that, you should also know the HANA parameter. Okay, HANA upgrade, your revision upgrade, client upgrade, all these things, and also updating your SDB user store. And in backup, guys, also remember to read the back int versus your normal backup or the file local backup. Okay, so when you take this one, also understand the importance of backup catalog. So these informations are very important, so somebody can ask you in the interview in HANA, and also they will be asking you what is the normal troubleshooting you do in HANA, and troubleshooting in the sense your file system full or data reclaim, log reclaim, and also they will be asking you some questions like data volume reclaim, or they will asking for the data encryption. Okay, so or you are using in the HANA restore recovery also, suppose you are using the encrypted backup, so how are you going to restore and recover? So all these things you need to read. So these are very important and very small, so like you can just spend some time and you can easily understand how to do these things. It's not so difficult. So these are very basic. So these will be asked for sure in the interview, like in the database point of view, and also from the OS point of view, network point of view. I just gave you a little bit of overview. So rest of the things you can just like if you read it, it's good for you. If you don't want to read, that is also fine. So now coming to SAP application specific. Since you are 0 to 6 years, so you should be able to do everything in SAP basis, at least in the admin point of view, like your support environment, whatever task you have, like that is they will ask you on the parameters. Okay, so also they will ask you parameter tuning. Second thing, they might ask you on the kernel upgrade, so you need to be very careful when you do the kernel upgrade, particularly for the ABAP and the Java and the web dispatcher. So you can check my video, so I've already mentioned those things in that video, so it's end to end, you can easily understand each and everything, and that is more than enough. Okay, so next is your monitoring, in the sense taking care of your file system, application file system, or you can say housekeeping. Okay, so that is very important. So that is mostly for the freshers or 0 to 2 years they ask, not for the senior level, of course. So next is your refresh. Refresh is quite important because your day-to-day activity, I mean every week or weekly, I mean twice a week, or you can say depends on your customer, whatever changes they are doing, so you will be getting accordingly. Okay. So it's not like you are going to like do every time, but you should know how to get it done independently. Okay, that is very much important, otherwise you will be stuck. So refresh should be end to end individually, and you should be able to answer the questions. Particularly in refresh, you need to read on the BDLS. Okay, you need to read on the application, like your HTML setup. Also read on the some of the information which is important, that suppose you are doing for the BW system, so you need to understand how to use that RSA1 and also the BW info cubes. So if these are for the BW systems, but if you are using for S4HANA and all like that, also you need to understand. So accordingly to prepare yourself, and because you've already done the DB restore recovery, so the application, why do you need to explain it, and what are the issues you face and how you fix it. So next is your kernel upgrade, which is we have already discussed this kernel upgrade. So now we will be you can say the support pack. So 0 to 2 to 3 years they will be asking mostly on the spam saint, they are not going to discuss on your some tool. But if you are in a senior level like 3 to 6 years, you should know the SPS upgrade. Okay, and also other component upgrades using your spam saint or using a sum. Okay, and some also, this is, see, whenever you are going to understand the upgrade, you should know the few things, how to plan the activity, how to use the product availability matrix. So all these things you need to read. Okay, these are very important, that the prep should be enough, the upgrade should be enough. And also you need to understand what is the sum currently available in the market and which is the latest version and all these things. And along with that, the parallelism, how to optimize the processes in the downtime and also in the uptime. And also read on the downtime approach, particularly you read on the, suppose you are doing for the S4 HANA, so you need to understand this SDMI, silent data migration infrastructure, or else you can also go for NJDM. So these are the important things you should know, how the downtime being optimized in the upgrade. At least the basic information, that is more than enough. Okay, and but you should able to do the upgrade end to end. You should explain it, and if they ask you in the preparations, what happens if I don't release the transport, do I require to manually release the transport before the upgrade. So all these things you need to check and prepare. So those things will be the key topics which people ask on the upgrade side. Okay, so along with that, you have your migrations. Some people ask you, some people doesn't ask you, but I just suggest everybody just basics of migration. You just get this information, and you can easily get it, the SAP documents, you can read it. Otherwise, maybe in future I will be preparing a basics of migration video where I'll give you the overview and the basics of which will be end-to-end migration. Okay, so along with that, your troubleshooting is very important in SAP, like your printer transport related. So all these things you should understand, and these are the videos available in my channel also. You can also go through those videos. So troubleshooting is very, very important. 90% of people ask you in the interview. And along with that, you should have at least good knowledge on ECC if you are working BW, at least 2 or 3 components. But guys, these days everybody expect that basis guys will do the business object also, so you should know how the business object works. The little bit of information you should have, at least how to restart the BO, what is the Tomcat server, what is the what is your SIA, like in BO, and how to restart it for the Windows, how to restart for the Linux, how to change the parameters in BO for the Linux, and also basics you should have it. If you don't know how to upgrade the BO, it's good, but if you don't have that, is fine, but you should have that. It's not something very new to you. Okay, and also you should have this idea on at least the Java systems. So Java system, you need to read very, like you need to know troubleshooting, like how to collect your thread dumps, okay, and how to analyze logs, etc., and stop and start. And same goes for your Java component upgrade and all. Okay, so this is a bit tricky for the Java. You need to have a lot of idea, so ensure you know the basics and you know how to troubleshoot and how to analyze the memory dumps in Java, and how to restart a node in Java. So they will be asking you this kind of questions, and they might also ask you, suppose you are using PO system, so PO system they will be asking you how to do a ping test, and the communication channels are not reachable, how to do that. Okay, if the IDOCs are failing, so then how to, suppose your VCC to PO connectivity, so IDOCs are failing, so how to reprocess this IDOCs and all, so those things will be very important. You need to understand and you need to at least prepare accordingly. Okay, so those are the areas you can focus, and don't, like my suggestion is just focus on these topics and just prepare well. Don't just say I know everything. If somebody asks if you don't know something, that's fine. And in Hana guys, and also a very important thing, your replication is very important. Along with that, you should know the delta merge completely. Also people will ask you on this table partition, at least one of the table partition. I'm not saying you should be expert in multi-level, single level, all the partition, but even you say single level partition, at least, or hash or range, or you are using round robin, so accordingly you need to understand that these, any of the method you should able to make them explain that okay, this is the thing. Because in interview the important thing is your approach, how you approach it. And a lot of people by default they ask you silly questions and stupid questions, it's okay, but in majority of the cases people will stick to this and they will ask you a lot of questions which is the basic. Nobody is going to ask you okay, tell me that command, this command, not like that. But if you've done the things, share your experience. Don't just read the document in the Google. Even if you check some videos and if you just try to understand and try to make your own note and make a the strategy. My suggestion is, if you're preparing for the interview, at least make a 7 days approach. So first 7 days you just read or prepare based on your experience. Okay, so then next 1 week, 7 to 14, like your week number 2, so you can just prepare accordingly. That in week number 2 you can just prepare for the high-end activities. Okay, like your upgrade, refresh, replication and all. Week number 3, just give them just dedicate your entire week for the troubleshooting related steps, for anything, like for Hana, for application, for ECC, for BW, for BO systems, whatever whatever you get it. So just prepare the troubleshooting steps and how you troubleshoot, what are the basic errors. So get some case, like okay, what are the errors are possible, or if you face any error, just note it down and prepare those things. And the last but not the least, the week number 4, you can just go to the topics which is totally new or something that is new to you. You just want to have an overview. So new topics, okay, suppose you don't know the migration, you just want to read on that. Just do one thing, just spend some time and just get the basics, so that will help you. And that way, then after 1 month you can try for the interviews, and I've already given the salary ranges you can ask for. You can ask more than that, don't settle down for less. Okay, and that's overall approach that I can give you on these areas. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. I mean, to the top mid one-to-one session, or you can also put the questions in your comment section, so I will be happy to assist you. Okay, so thank you for watching this video, guys. Have a great day and enjoy the weekend.